In this video tutorial, we will build the chart you see on your screen that represents the result of an inquiry. This is a stacked bar chart with a single bar and custom tooltips. We will use the charting library to make it. We will use Visual Studio for its support for IntelliSense, and we create an empty web page. The chart library needs a canvas to draw the chart, so we create a canvas element. It's very important that we give the canvas an ID. Then we save the file. Next, we browse to the directory where we've saved the chart HTML page and create a new folder called scripts. There, we copy the two JavaScript files that represent the charting library, charting and common. We also copy the VS.doc file that represents the IntelliSense type definitions. Now, let's reference the JavaScript files. We add references to them at the end of the HTML web page, right before the closing body tag. We also add a reference to one more file called stacked bar chart. This is the code behind file for this chart. Let's create it now. We create an empty JS file and save it in the main directory where the chart web page is. Next, we add a reference to the IntelliSense file and mappings to the namespace definitions that we will use: charting, controls, collections, drawing, and the tooltip class. Now we get the HTML element that corresponds to the canvas with ID chart and set its width and height to be the same as the client width and height of its offset parent. Finally, we create the bar chart control using this HTML chart element and specifying the layout of the bars, stack. A good way to provide data to a bar chart is through the barseries class. Let's check it in the online documentation. We can see that its constructor accepts a list with the data values and different labels, inner, top, or labels for the x-axis. That's good, but we want to use tooltips. We can easily make the barseries use one of its label lists for tooltips by overriding it. Here's how we do it. We define a new variable called barSeriesWithTooltip, and we assign to it a method that calls the constructor of the barseries with 3 parameters, a data array, and 2 arrays with labels. Then we override the getLabel method, which is responsible for returning the right string for the label of the given type and index. In it, we check if we're asked for a tooltip, and if so, we return the top label at the given index. In all other cases, we call the standard getLabel method of the barseries class. That's how we will get for a tooltip the respective label from the top labels list. Let's create an instance from the new barSeriesWithTooltip class and see our chart. The stacked bar chart renders each data value as one portion of the stacked bar at the adjacent position. This means that for a single stacked bar with 5 parts, we need 5 barSeriesWithTooltip instances with one data value. We initialize first the lists with the inner labels and then the tooltips. Each list holds just one string. Now, let's create a collection with the 5 barseries. We create the data arrays in the constructor call and provide one list with labels and one list with tooltips. We assign this series collection to the series property of the bar chart and then call the draw method. It's the draw method that renders the chart. Let's inspect the first version of our chart. The data's rendered as it should. Let's start to customize the appearance. We make the chart horizontal by setting horizontal bars to true and hide the legend with show legend equals false. The stacked bar is horizontal now and the legend's gone. Now we'll make some customization of the axes. We make the y-axis to have just one interval. Its min value is negative 0.6 and its max value is 0.6. The interval is 1. The chart library renders bars in the middle of the axis value that corresponds to the bar. In our case, the first bar has an axis value of 0 and is drawn half under the 0 and half above the 0. That's why we make the y-axis start from negative 0.6. Let's tell the chart that we want the labels that we've provided to be used for inner labels and tooltips. We do this by setting the supported labels property. We use another property called bar spacing ratio to make the chart wide enough. Now we will use some of the theme properties to adjust the appearance of the chart. The theme class exposes many properties that let you control how your chart looks. We use transparent brush for the axes so they will not be visible. Then we set a bigger font for the labels and make them bold. Here it is. The tooltip is drawn at the edge of the bar by default, but we can adjust its location easily. The static tooltip class offers various properties for customizing the appearance of the tooltip. We use the brush property to set transparent background of the tooltip, and pen to specify a white border pen. Then we move the tooltip inside the bar by using horizontal offset and vertical offset properties. We increase the text padding and set a bigger font. Let's check the result. Looks much better. Let's make the stacked bar smaller. The size of the chart depends on the size of the canvas element. It's now 100% high. Let's set it to a fixed size, say 220 pixels. Looks better now. Let's color the chart. The chart library has numerous style classes that provide different ways of applying the provided brushes and strokes to the chart elements. We will use the barseries style class that colors all elements of the adjacent series with the brush at the corresponding index in the brushes list of the series. We've chosen 5 complementary colors for the bars and create 5 solid brushes with them and 1 white brush for the outline. We create an instance of the barseries style class with a list of the 5 brushes as fills, the white brush as stroke, and a list with the number 3 as a single stroke thickness. The white outline and the stroke thickness will be applied repeatedly to all series. We assign the new style to the series style property of the chart plot. Let's refresh the chart. It's almost done. What we need to add now is the title and subtitle. We use the title and subtitle properties to set the desired text. Let's refresh the page. The chart is now complete. You can apply standard CSS styling to add some margin around the chart or place the canvas anywhere else on the page. With this, our tutorial's complete. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in MindFusion developer tools.